Guys, welcome back to Steel Mountain Moto. You will see it's just me, Scott, in the Steel Mountain Moto garage. Why am I in the Steel Mountain Moto garage, you might ask? Well, we live in Canada. We're seasonal riders. It's now October, and believe it or not, tonight was too cold for us to ride. We had all of the intentions of riding today to capture some footage for you guys, to tell you a nice story. We were going to meet up with Shurzy. Marcus was going to come out. I was going. Shurzy was coming. We were all going to ride, and we were all going to get out and get some content. But unfortunately, the temperature dropped significantly after the sun went down. So we called it off. We said, you know what, guys, we'll do another day. But I still had a little bit of sunshine left. Had a little bit of a ride after work. And I realized with Pearl now hitting just over 30,000 kilometers on the odometer, there's one maintenance item that I've neglected and I haven't taken care of on this bike yet. Now, it's a quick and easy one. It's really simplistic on the new bikes. Now, if you don't know, Pearl, you'll see her here in a minute, is a 2024 Road Glide CBO ST. Now, this should be the same for all 2023 and a half Road Glides. It should also be on anything, you know, the Softails and what have you. Anything with the M8 will have this type of adjustment. But stick around, guys. We're going to show you what that adjustment is. We're going to make sure that Pearl is all up to snuff and riding as safely as she can. So stick around, kids. We're about to do it. Let me teach you something you need to know. Let's do how-to Tech Tip Tuesday on a Saturday. I don't know. Okay, guys, so the maintenance tip that we are going to talk about today is the adjustment of our clutch. So that is about an inch of free play before it starts to engage, and that realistically should be at about an eighth of an inch. So we got a little bit of work to do. We're going to take you through the process of adjusting your clutch and making this thing shift a whole lot better. So we're going to take out that free play in the handle. It's going to be nice and easy. It's not the same as sport bikes. It's not the same as dirt bikes. It is completely different. And the new clutch system does make it quite easy. What is going to make it hard, though, is on Pearl we have the lower cowls. So let's take you through that. Let's see what it's all about. Okay, guys, so first things first, on this thing, you'll see that the CVO ST is a bit of a pain. One, we have this massive air intake. Two, I've got this big fat exhaust. Three, I've got this lower valence to my front fairing. So on a regular Road Glide, that's not going to be a problem, but the part that we need to get to, kids, is right here. This sheath right here on my clutch cable. So if you follow it down from your handlebars, you're going to get to this, and I'm going to try to do this as gracefully as I possibly can, which may not be that graceful, but let's see what I can do. Okay, guys, so first things first, I'm going to try to get it out of its holder here. So that's just going to push forward and get out and around that if we can, but again, I've got that big hose in the way there. So let's see if I can get this out of the holder here. This might be tougher than I thought. Marcus, you're just gonna have to change this and make it nice and smooth and an easy transition. Okay, that is out. So now I have this guy loosey-goosey, okay? I'm gonna get this rubber cap off of here, hopefully. And maybe if you end up doing your clutch at the right interval, it might be a little bit easier, but I'm going to try to get this cap off of here, this rubber sleeve, get that up out of the way so we can make our quick and easy adjustment. So we got that rubber sleeve up out of the way, or rubber cap we'll call it for now. Now I'm going to pull this sleeve off, and again, if you are maybe twisting it's going to work a little bit. This is not easy, guys. I don't have a whole lot to grab onto here. Yeah, I don't want to go too hard because I'm going to slice my hands off on that cylinder head. So, guys, I'm just going to keep working that and see if I can get it off. And all I can say, guys, is I hope this video is not shit. Because right now, it's feeling like it's gonna be. All right, so before you start to attack this sheeting, or this piece here, you may want to take your sweater off because it's probably gonna make you sweat a little bit. It's gonna be mean and nasty. But twist and pull, and twist and pull, and twist and pull. And you'll see that this yellow auto adjuster is starting to reveal itself here. And that's what we need to get to. So, a little bit further. I think that rubber part's in the way. It is. So, let's see if I can go a little bit further up the shaft. And there we go. I got the sleeve up out of the way. The part that we need to get to, guys, is this adjuster point right here. So, on this black tab, wow, that is rusty in there too. There's this little red tab here, okay? We need to use a little tiny screwdriver, and we're gonna pry that out of the way. So, if you've ever worked in a shop or known anybody that worked in the shop, you're probably gonna have one of these, a little snap-on screwdriver. And if you don't, then you got the Mickey Mouse version. But what we wanna do is catch our breath first, because that was not easy. And I'm going to try to push this tab. Let's see if I can show you here. This tab and that tab out of the way, okay? So we're gonna push that in and hopefully forward. I hope you guys can see this, and then I'm gonna push that one in and forward as well. I don't wanna pop it right out, but what's gonna happen is that tab is gonna pop, okay? Then I'm gonna take my cable, wherever it is, trying to get a nice spot on it, and I want to pull. Ugh, there's not a lot of room in here, guys. I want to pull that spring. I'm gonna have to get a pair of needle nose in there, guys, so I can show you this a little better. Let's see if I can reach this a little better from the other side. Now, kids, you may not want to try this from home, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to push down on that spring, okay? Compress that spring and pop that tab back in, okay? So, spring is compressed, and then I push that red tab back in to lock it there. Now, that is ready to be adjusted. That should give me all the free play I need in the world to get over to my clutch side. So now, guys, you'll see after I've made that adjustment over on the clutch cable side, I've got all of this free play here in my hand grip. So my next adjustment is now going to be the tougher part if you're not much of a DIYer or a garage wrencher, but we're going to move on to our derby cover. I believe, guys, I need a T27, which might be a pain in the ass to find, but we're going to try T27. T27. Okay, guys, so the derby cover is this guy here. It's on your primary, and it is not the most attractive side of your bike, but it is necessary to get into. You know, it's not the exhaust side. It's not as pretty. It's not as good looking. But you know what? We all need a little bit of love. So we're going to open up our derby cover. Now, one thing that's very important about this, we've got 5 screws here. A couple of things to note. So tip number 1, have your bike standing straight up and down unless you have oil to refill this. It only takes roughly a liter or a quart or close to it. Number 2, when we get into one of these, make sure that you are seated right in that screw before you start to pull it out. Okay, we don't want to strip these. We don't want them to, you know, we don't want to cause any concerns, right? We just want to be able to take this out nice and easy, and we don't want to strip anything. Now, when we go back into this, we are going to torque this to, I forget what the torque spec is, 80 to 190 to 103. So let's say we just do 100 inch-pounds when we go back at this. Now you'll see that the derby cover is coming loose. It's loosey-goosey already. It wants to come right off. So now this is a finished piece. We don't want this just banging off the lift and onto the floor. So let's make sure we don't scratch it. So our adjustment, guys, is going to be right here. Okay, so tools so far, guys, we need a T27 to take these off. We didn't use any tools at all on the other side except for that little screwdriver. On this side, we're going to need two things. So that nut right there is, if I'm not mistaken, 11/16 wrench. Let's see. And it is, okay. And then we need the Allen key inside, which I think is 7/32, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Scotty has a good memory. So 7/32, 11/16. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold that center nut. Okay, so we're going to hold that center Allen. Okay, then we're going to take our 11/16. We're going to jump onto this bolt right here. All right, I'm going to get a good hold of it. I don't want to strip anything here. So guys, I don't know where we're at, but I was in the midst of telling you something. We need a 7/32 Allen key in there, or hex. I am going to see if I do have a socket of that size. I don't know if I do. I do, so that might make life a little bit easier to turn that. So I'm going to grab that out of the toolbox here. Maybe an extension, a larger ratchet, so I can really get onto it instead of dealing with an Allen key. First things first, derby cover comes off, okay? Derby cover, pretty straightforward on this particular bike. 5 Allen key screws, T27s. That is going to come off. Again, don't let that fall on the floor. That is a really nice piece of equipment. You don't want to scratch it up. So 7/32 Allen key is going to go inside there, but I can't really get enough on it, so I'm going to switch out. Oh, that's not a 7/32. That's a 5/32. Oh my Lanta. Man, this is not going according to plan. Do I have a 5/32? That's a quarter, I think. Yeah, that's too big. 3/16, so it looks like, kids, that's all we're going to be using. Break it the other way. Is any of this making sense to any of you guys? After we have our adjustment here, we're gonna have a lot of extra play here. You see how much we got there. So way too much. We're gonna come down to our derby cover, which I already have open, but your derby cover sits on there. On this beauty, it says 121 high output. We're gonna have 5 screws around. They are going to be a T27. This little guy right here. 5 of those, not a big deal. Get those taken out. Little tip here, guys. I have my bike in a chock. It is completely upright. If you do have it down on the kickstand, your bike's going to lean and oil will drip out of here. So if you don't have the oil to do the oil change, go get yourself a liter. It's not a big deal. But we can get that taken care of very easily. So we have a couple of things here. I have 11/16 nut here. I have a 7/32 Allen key in the center of this post, which I'm just going to put in there. So 7/32. You need to break this nut free. So nut has to go that way, and oh, I got this going the wrong way. Your ratchet has to go this way with the nut going that way. Okay. Now, once you do that, you're going to get in a position where this will spin freely. Okay. So that nut is backed off. This guy's going to spin nice and free. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to roll this down until I just barely feel tension. So as soon as it starts to bottom, okay, so it hit right there. Okay, as soon as I start to feel tension, all right, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 1/2 to 1 full turn back. So I'm going to do 1 full turn. So I'm just going to find something on my bit here. I'm going to start with the, let's see where this sits in this post here. No, hold on. So that's it, it's right there. So I'm going to look at that R as top dead center. So I don't know if you could see that in the film, but I'm going to turn that back. That would be half, and right back around until that R is upright. And that will be 1 full turn. Then I'm going to take this nut and lock it down. And be careful not to move your post from where it was, okay? So I'm going to take a minute here. I'm going to get the GoPro on its stand. So we are going to make sure that we stand straight up right where I was. And I'm going to, oops. I'm gonna lock this nut down. So we gotta do a couple things. So I want to get my ratchet in there at that point, and my 11/16 wrench, and I'm just going to torque that down. And I'm just going to get it somewhat tight. Then I'm going to torque that down to 100 inch-pounds, I think. So I'm going to find a socket, 11/16 socket. So once we've got this nut set down, again, making sure that our adjustment rod is in the right place, we are going to torque that down to 120 inch-pounds. Inch-pounds, kids. Not foot-pounds. Now, that's seated. This guy's not going to move. We should have a little bit of play in there. We're going to get the derby cover put back on here. Again, a lot easier, kids, if you have the bike standing up completely. So I like to hang it off that top one. Then I take my other 4 screws. I've got my handy dandy little tool here. I'm just going to run those in and make sure this guy seats. We're going to do a star pattern here. Make sure everything ends up in the right place. And again, I'm just seating this in place. We're not tightening anything just yet. Okay, so now I'm going to just snug these up. And then we're going to torque those down to, I don't know, what do you say? 100 inch-pounds? Sounds good to me. So take my bit off of here. We're going to set up our torque wrench here to 100 inch-pounds. Now, these are tiny little aluminum screws, and we want to be sure that every time you set your, I've gone too far. Every time you set your bit in, you make sure that it's seated correctly. So there is a torque sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, I might be off, but as long as we do a star pattern, you'll see that I didn't get my bit in there correctly, so I already stripped it just a little bit. I'm too busy talking here instead of paying attention. Again, these are very fragile screws. I don't know why they use these. There's going to be a better screw that they can use for our derby cover. But derby cover's back on, the adjustment's been made. Now, let's go back to the other side. Over on the other side, you guys probably missed my pretty face, eh? Let's go over to the other side and take a look at our final adjustment, which is getting our thing back in place. Let's get some lights on over here and you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Okay guys, so we're back over here. So if we recall back to the start of the video, we had compressed the spring here and then we put our red clip back in. So our spring is compressed. I'm going to turn this around here and I'm going to push out those little red tabs again. And what's going to happen is this is where the self-adjusting component comes in here. Hopefully you guys can see this. But we're going to push those red tabs back out. All right, and that spring goes to full tension. Once it does that, lock that back in. Oh, I just moved you, sorry guys. But we're going to make sure that that red tab is locked in. That spring is back out to full function. And if we did our job right, we should have our adjustment done over here. So let's go take a look and let's see before we open everything up. Let's hope I don't have too much glare over here, but oh, much better. So I went from having most likely, oh, that's much better. I had more than an inch before that got to grab, and now I'm at where I should be at about 1/8 of an inch before it starts to grab. That's pretty stiff though now too, but feels good. Let's see, we're gonna go back to putting that back in play, meaning that sheathing that we moved up here, we're going to slide that back over top. But again, not a fun thing to do. It's going to make me out of breath, but let's get everything put back together here. We're going to slide this back down over top. And again, guys, if you have a Softail, a lowrider S, Street Bob Breakout, anything like that, this is going to be a lot easier because you don't have these lowers and you don't have this giant air intake. You will have the big air intake on the Lowrider ST. I'm not going to say you won't, but it is not quite as, what do you want to say, intrusive, we'll say, of a component. And this is making me lose my breath. I'm pushing so hard on this thing. It is not easy to do this sheathing here. And I'm sure there's going to be somebody in the comments that will have a great idea as to how to put this back on. And if you do have a great idea, guys, share it with the community. I'm just winging it. I made an adjustment on my last bike, which was, again, a Lowrider ST with the M8. It was my first introduction to this self-adjuster, as they call it. And yeah, I had to learn the hard way. So I thought, you know what? If we're not riding today, guys, well, I'm going to share a little bit of my frustration with you guys too. Right? So we're working on it, guys. We're almost there. Oh, and it's just ripping my fingers apart. But it's all part of the gig. So you can see I've got that tiny little bit right there I've got to cover up. Let me work on that. And we'll go from there. Last but not least, guys, make sure that you get your little rubber top portions that you chased up the line there. Make sure you get those again and put them down over top. Again, get your cover right down over top of the yellow at the bottom. And then don't forget to put the clutch cable back in its little spot here. And, oh my Lord, depending again what chassis you're riding will determine where that goes. I'm going to use a little screwdriver here to get me a little bit of pryability because I haven't got a whole lot of room here. There's not a whole lot of room here to work with, guys. But you know what? I wouldn't give it up for the world because I love the ST. It makes me feel nice when I ride it. But they don't give you a whole lot of room in the front end here to work on anything. And I'm trying to do this without breaking it. So there's a coolant hose in the way, guys. There's all the fairing pieces in the way. I don't think you're gonna be able to see any of this on the video. Okay, guys, so that's it. Nice and easy. Not too bad. I will say that that nut inside the derby cover is not the most convenient to get to. I shouldn't say to get to loosen off and adjust. But we got it done. We got it out of the way. Now, usually I would, and I don't know why I have so many wrenches out. I had a bunch on the bench over there. But skill level out of 10, it's like a 3. It's really not that big a deal. But hopefully you guys learned something today. Again, the CVO, a little tougher with the lowers, the air breather. I had to loosen up the cable a little further up to be able to get it back into its carrier. But it all worked out in the end. Traditionally, I'd be able to start the bike up and try to feel its kind of movement point. But right now, it feels good. It's too late to start the bike. And that's it for now. Little how-to, adjust your clutch. Let's get it done. M8, Softail, CVO, Road Glide, Street Glide, Breakout, whatever you're on. Do it. Nice and easy. Don't pay the dealer. Anyway, guys, let's see where our adventure takes you. Welcome to the garage. Peace.